William Seo.
Mr. Speaker, happy to take a short call on the bill that we're discussing at the moment, and just simply say, as my colleague, the Honourable Phil Goff, has said, Labor supports this, and why wouldn't we? This bill here simply introduces another symbol which would be recognised worldwide alongside the Red Cross, alongside the Crescent and the Star of David, which hopefully will provide some confidence in those parts of the world where we do need to provide protection and support in times of war to those people who need that protection, etc. And I just want to commend also that the Red Cross is a symbol that's very, very familiar in this part of the region. I don't know how familiar the Red Crescent is, and I don't know how familiar this particular symbol will be in the Pacific region. But I'd be interested in the Select Committee stage, sir, to receive evidence from organisations who, like the Israeli organisation, the Turkish New Zealand organisation, groups like the Palestinian, the Pakistan organisations here in New Zealand, because they will have experience that would probably help better give information that will help New Zealanders understand just how important it is that New Zealand plays a strong leadership role throughout this region. We've taken such a role when we introduced a nuclear-free zone throughout this region, and I think we've also got to play a greater role in the international arena, because you can't get away from the globalisation of things how they are today. I am aware, sir, that in the Minister's opening statement he said that this bill was not a matter of urgency. That really begs the question, sir, that once upon a time this bill was number 48 on the order paper, and suddenly we're debating it here, when I suspect, sir, that there are probably more important issues that we should be debating. I mean, we've got our own symbols, like not for sale symbol, in terms of what this government recently has done. Or the baby, sir, with the big eyes, which is the parental leave symbol that we're promoting and got a petition. But, no, it isn't Chris Hipkins. It probably is Mr. Simon Bridges here. But I have to say, sir, that given that we're supporting this bill, New Zealanders listening into this particular debate will be wondering, why on earth is Parliament under this government spending time to debate something that should be given? We should be supporting it. Why on earth should we not be debating what is this national government going to do about the 160,000 people who are unemployed? What is this national government going to do about stemming the flow of New Zealanders who are leaving our shores to try and find a better standard of better life, a better standard of living in Australia? So I can see you doing that. So look, I'm standing between this house here and dinner, and my mum taught me that once you smell pork, you got to keep it short. So simply say that we support this convention, and say to that government, they should know better. They should be debating more important things which are affecting people's lives right at this very moment. Thank you.
Dr. Jiang Yang.
I would like to add my support to this bill, the Geneva Convention Amendment Bill. As a former senior lecturer in international relations, I am just too familiar with topics like war and conflicts. When the Cold War came to its end in the early 1990s, people were saying that we were going to see peace and therefore no more conflicts. As a matter of fact, we have seen more conflicts since the end of the Cold War. And so this bill is a good bill because it contains legislative provisions for New Zealand to become a party to the third additional protocol to the Geneva Convention of 1949, which is the primary source of international humanitarian and armed conflict law. Mr. Speaker, New Zealand has always been a strong supporter of international humanitarian law and respects the noble humanitarian work of the 97 million volunteers, members and staff of the Red Cross and Red Crescent movement in helping and protecting innocent people around the world who have been caught up in devastating wars or natural disasters. The road to adding this additional emblem began in 1992. Since then, many lives may have been lost because some countries may not recognize the Red Cross or Red Crescent symbols. So, Mr. Speaker, this bill will no doubt help to save many lives and not just New Zealanders in armed conflicts around the world. It will help to continue the valuable work of New Zealand's armed forces, aid agencies, and the Red Cross and Red Crescent movement. So I commend this bill to the House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Are there any further speakers? There being no further speakers, the question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it.
Geneva Convention's Third Protocol Red Crystal Emblem Amendment Bill, first reading.
The Speaker is that the Geneva Convention's Third Protocol Red Crystal Emblem Amendment Bill be considered by the Foreign Affairs, Defence and Trade Committee. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. Point of order, Michael Woodhouse.
Mr. Speaker, the House has made good progress this week and consistent with an agreement of the whips, I seek leave for the House to adjourn until the next sitting day.
Leave is sought for that purpose. Is there any objection? There is no objection. The House stands adjourned until 2 p.m. on Tuesday the 17th of July 2012.